Stop unmuting yourself.
My bad, bro.
King Drew.
What's going on, boys? Welcome to another edition of the First and Foremost podcast. It's our second edition, guys. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to do this once again with my boys. We got Mr. Bacon down there. How you doing, Bacon?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. How about you, my friend?
Great, man. Great, man. We got my boy Najee right over here. How you doing?
What's up? What's going on? What's going on, man? Happy to be here on this fine Tuesday with you guys, talking some ball, man. What up?
Definitely. I'm just trying to figure out: are we talking podcast, or are you about to rob one of us? Like, I'm got the hood on. He's just like incognito. Like, I'm trying to make sure you good, bro. You all right?
Nah, I'm good, man. Sometimes you gotta be a little incognito, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna rock that vibe today.
Look, he got
Exactly.
he got the camera on this week, so he don't know how to act.
Oh, here you go.
Messing, man. But if you guys don't know what this is the First and Foremost podcast where we talk high school football, mostly Georgia, but we can branch out of that. We also hit some hoops in the end and things like that. Talk some hoops at the end of it. So I'm super excited about this series. I think the first episode was great. So if you haven't seen the first episode, make sure you go back to our YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel at Inside the Hashes. You can follow Najee's YouTube as well. His is right down there as well. Bacon, still working on Bacon, but we're gonna get him caught up. We're gonna get him caught up. We're gonna get him right. We're gonna get him right. But listen, man, we had some great games this weekend, and we definitely gonna go and talk about it for sure. Georgia high school preview. So let's get right into it, man. And the first game that we're gonna do is Adasta versus Colquitt, man. So I know Colquitt was one of those high-powered teams that were going into the season, and I got to see one of the games last year when they played Lee County. I know they've been dominating so far. So guys, tell me about this game. I'm gonna start with you, Bacon. What was your takeaways of this game?
Man, this is a classic rivalry, man. Colquitt about Oster. I don't know how they're real close. They said it's separated by 30 to 40 minutes, probably closer than that. So South Georgia takes the football real seriously. Expect a packed house. I think Colquitt's gonna run away with this one. Just a juggernaut of a team thus far, but I don't expect any surprises from Valdosta. So Colquitt, without a doubt, big time rivalry, South Georgia. Book it.
Yeah, I think for me, man, just Nico fans been having another great season for Colquitt County. Up to 26 touchdowns already, 2,000 plus yards passing. They off to another great start last year, 13-1 until they lost to Carrollton in the semifinals last season. So, I mean, Colquitt's the real deal, man. We don't talk about South Georgia a lot, but they got some weapons, right? Nye Carr, who was committed to Georgia, he's now committed to Miami, and then Landon Thomas was committed to Florida State. So that's kind of who I got my eyes on. But Coach Shelton got Valdosta looking good right now, right? They're 7-2. They're in the thick of things, having a better season than last year. So it should be a good one. Region battle. I think this is actually for the region championship. The two comes out on top. Whoever wins, you pretty much win that region. So it's gonna be a good game. But yeah, I gotta roll with what Bacon said. I gotta roll with Colquitt, man. They just look like a really explosive team. They can run the ball really well. Two runners right now, Dennis and Brown, 618 yards running, 562 yards running. So they can beat you in a multitude of ways, man. And they don't just run it; they pass it. And that car's turned it up, man. 856 yards receiving and 16 touchdowns already in just 8 games. So they can run it, they can throw it, they can do a lot of things well. I got to roll with Colquitt.
Yeah, I think Colquitt got it as well. I like Landon Thomas, their tight end. I got to see him. Like I said last year, when they played Lee County, and that game was actually, if you look at the score from last year, you're gonna be like, man, that game wasn't even close. That game was close into the fourth quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, they did a screen to Landon. He went all the way down the field and got a touchdown, and from there it was just a downward spiral. It was just like a whole momentum change for Colquitt, and that's why they won the way they looked and everything. So I think that Colquitt got a lot of dogs on their team, a lot of really good players. I think Landon is committed to Georgia, I want to say. Can't remember where he's committed to, but yeah, really good team, really stout team. Obviously, they're what are 6-0.
Committed to Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah, he was at Georgia, but he decommitted and went to Florida State.
That's what it was. I remember that now. Yeah, man. So they're 8-0. Sorry, they're 8-0 right now. So I think this is a clash of two really good teams. I don't know Valdosta as much as probably you two guys do, being that it's so far away. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this game kind of goes. So, all right, let's get to our next game. Peachtree Ridge versus Norcross. So this is a game that I'm trying to attend this week. So it's going to be a heavyweight match. I like these two teams. Got some dogs on both sides. Najee, can you give us a little insight of this game?
Yeah, I actually talked to Rod Thomas last night on my podcast. You guys haven't seen that, and you watch it live on YouTube, go check out that interview exclusive. So talk to him. He's a playmaker with Peachtree Ridge. Kid is only a sophomore. Talk to him a little bit about their class, 2026 class. He said they got a potential to be special. They go at it every day in practice, man. And he said, I asked him kind of, what was the moment you knew you guys would be special? Because for me, it was at Georgia Tech when we all met up with each other, seen each other at 707. That's when I knew Ridge was special. And people call me crazy because I took Peachtree Ridge to win that region early on, and I knew right then and there they was going to be the team to beat. So good thing is they come out Friday, they get to show it. But I asked Rawa the same question. When did you know? He was like, man, this is how full speed we went in practice, how we try to take each other's head off, how much it meant to us just in practice. So Coach Matt Helmer's doing a great job with that group. I suspect to be the same thing. I love Norcross. That's where I went to school at. That's my alma mater. But try to not have no bias when it comes to it. I got to roll with Ridge, man. I think Peachtree Ridge comes in there, gets the big time victory. Norcross, though, player to watch for. Adrian Watkins, he's the X factor. Can throw it, can run it, can catch it, do everything. Probably one of the best athletes in the state. Probably will make an all-state list this upcoming season. He's going to be the player. If Peachtree Ridge can slow him down, got to like their chances in that one. And watch the back end of Norcross. Antonio Motors, also the X factor on defense. They're going to need him in a big way. Big hitter, good in coverage. But those playmakers, the thing about Peachtree Ridge, I'll say this to Bacon. If they get out of open space, it's a problem. So Norcross got to tackle well, Norcross got to cover well because Darnell Kelly is a stud. He's the real deal. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the state that's not talked about. And he distributes the ball. He don't just throw it to Lamar White. He don't just throw it to Miles Abernathy or Rod Thomas. He spreads it all over the field. So for me, man, I'm going to go with Ridge. Big time game. I wanted this on Peachtree Sports Network, but it's going to be on GPB. I'm as glad it's being televised. Big time game. I'm going with Ridge.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching the replay on YouTube. But I'm gonna ask you a question, Jerome, because you're the only one out of the both of us who actually played high school football. So from your perspective, how important is it for teams to really practice full speed on, let's say, 3 to 4 days out of the week before pregame?
Very, very important. I mean, listen, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not practicing the way you play the game, listen, you can't replicate that. You can't. So you can't just go into a game and be like, oh yeah, we got this. We got all the talent, this and that, when you're not practicing like you're playing. So like practice make perfect, right? So you can go into a practice and just go through the motions. There's a difference between going through the motions and going through it like a game day, and then that mentally prepares you like, oh yeah, we're about to get into this. Like, especially if you got great coaches that can really hone in on the game plan and have a great game plan and really study these other teams and, really get into like preparing. It's all about.
Yeah, most definitely. I was going to ask him as well if some coaches have a different perspective on that, but I honestly think Darnell Kelly and them, they're gonna go in there in Norcross and steal the show. They've been
All right.
the best show on turf as of thus far. Cole brother. I just see him talking on social media. He told all the people calling for NIL deals, please stop, please refrain from calling me. I'm focused on the season. I can hit me back after I go do what I need to do, man. So you got like a young man who's got his head on straight, that's looking performance wise instead of as a glitz and glamour as some athletes are looking for these days. So yeah, I'm locked in on Peachtree Ridge. I say they went by. I haven't really studied Norcross, but just going by the feel, the fall wind is in there. It's blown me to a two score victory around 14, 15 points, if not 20, but 15 points is a safe spread for me. Parlay it.
Parlay it.
I'm on Peachtree Ridge as well. My boy Miles over there, like y'all discussed. I'm really proud of him. I got to meet him during the off season, and he was just out there balling. So I like to see that he's getting the attention that he needs and playing the way that I thought he would prior to the season. So shout out to Miles. I think that that team in general, they got a really good quarterback. They got really good offensive players. Like Najee was saying, they don't only just give it to Miles. Like they spread the ball around. So you can't hone in on one guy. You gotta keep your head on the swivel on everybody. So I just think the offensive power would be just a little bit too much for Norcross. I do think Norcross is a really good program. They got actually really good defense as well, but I just think the offensive power of Peachtree Ridge is going to take this game.
Last thing before we transition, I just want to say Bacon brought up a great point about Darnell Kelly not being about the glitz and glamour. That's their whole team. Talked to Ra. He said, some of the games that came in, teams were talking smack. They just all about ball. They don't really care about what's being said on the internet. They go in there, they play. All that doesn't really matter to them. So that's another great point you brought up, Bacon. I just wanted to kind of elaborate on that. They really just care about playing ball. All that talking and stuff, they said they played the talking. So I wanted to bring up that point as well.
Shout out to the Peachtree Ridge boys.
Yep.
All right, and let's get to our last game. Well, second to last game. Monday Mill versus Woodyard. So I'm not too big and too familiar with Woodyard, but I know Monday Mill, man. Again, this is another team that I got to see during the offseason, and I really felt like this is a team that they play for each other. Like it was a team, the complete team. They like playing for each other. They had each other's backs, man. They was having fun out there. Bacon, you can start this one off. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this game?
I just seen Woodward Academy against Jonesboro. I kind of hold off what I got to say about Jonesboro. They looked tough. This is so tough. The quarterback he made some good throws. I haven't seen Monday's Mill. I know Monday's Mill beat up on Jonesboro pretty bad. So I kind of collab with you on this. Woodward looked explosive. I know Monday's Mill's got a solid defense, they're gritty. In your face, typical Southside Atlanta football. It's just gonna be my question for them is can they stay disciplined, not do any crazy penalties. But for the most part, Woodward looked they looked smooth. They look like they looked like they knew what they were doing. Of course, they had a lot of gifted possessions from Jonesboro, but solid effort. Solid effort. What about you, brother?
Yeah, I got to go with Woodward Academy. I haven't got to see him. I pushed for this game, too, to be on TV, Monday's Mill versus just Woodward. I know we don't go to that side of town a lot, but I just thought this is a great region. Three great teams, Monday's Mill, Woodward, and obviously Jonesboro. Struggled a little bit in that game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think Woodward just with the athletes. That's why I took them to kind of be, a really good team. Lucas Farrington, Josiah Abdullah, Ben Grice. They can run it. Good pass. I don't know what happened with Griffin Marshall. I'm gonna have to find out what happened with that. He was their starting quarterback at the beginning of the season, but see they got another starter now. And I don't know if that's injury or they just decided to change the role. So I gotta find out a little bit more about that. But I think they have a good team. I think Money's Mill will compete and contend. And I think it'll be an interesting back and forth game. But I think Woodward comes out on top. They win the region title against Money's Mill.
All right. Go ahead. You sound like you was gonna say something.
Yeah. So this kind of enlighten us a little bit on like what you've seen that makes you believe so much in Monday's Mill.
I've seen some of their tape, like as far as just the huddle, and they just like a team. They like to run the ball. They obviously a really good offense. I think it's underrated. So that really impressed me. And they don't really seem very mistake privy or mistake prone, in my opinion. So I think they take really good care of the football, good coach team. So I think it'll be closer than what people think, and I think they're gonna battle and compete. They got some dogs too, man. So I think it's gonna be a competitive game, better than what people think.
So what's your separator? You think Woodward's just gonna be a little more explosive to get them over the top?
I think so. Just with the Grice and Abdullah, just the ways they can attack you and how their linebackers flow around to the football. Andrew Hines, the London Merits of the world, CJ Hurd, who we haven't talked about Florida State commitment locked in for a while. He's got some dudes, man. So I just think they're going to be able to make more plays than Monday's Mill, but I think it'll be a good game.
Most definitely.
Awesome. All right, last preview game we're gonna talk about is gonna be Archer versus Grayson. So these are two teams. The Grayson Rams are 6-2. Archer Tigers are 5-3. I think it's gonna be a good heavyweight match. One of those Gwinnett County matchups that we got here. Najee, what you think about this game, man?
Man, I'm excited, man. I'm gonna be in person. I already didn't talk to some dudes from Grayson. They're excited that I'm coming, so I can't wait to go talk to them and holler them up close and personal. I know I'm gonna have some dope clips from this game. My eyes is on Alexander Sanchez and John Senius offensively. Obviously, I know Jeff Davis is having a good year. Transferred up from Valdosta, down from the Valdosta area. I think Lounge specifically about a season or two ago. He's looked real good in the offense. Doesn't turn over the football. Makes accurate reads and throws. I've interviewed seen this already. He's just a guy who can take the top off the defense, and he's also physical and a big body guy. Alexander, he's good with the short intermediate routes, can bring you with speed as well, man. So I think it's such an interesting game, right? Nobody's talking about Archer and how good of a team they are. But they're 5-3, 3-0, right? Endured a tough stretch. Won 1-0, lost 3 straight, and now they done won 4 straight. So they do anything. The week before, we talked about William Wallace coming in there. After Jordan Dew went down, having that marvelous performance. We'll see who's going to be the starter of this game and see how that looks. But they got a lot of weapons, too, they could kind of throw at you. I talked to Coach Dante Williams, too, last week, and he mentioned a lot of different players, man. I can't wait to see defensively Devon Donaldson. He mentioned him. They're not going to talk about a lot, but a younger guy that's kind of stepped up for him. Obviously, they got Jonathan Stafford, who he thinks to do. He compared him to Travis Hunter just far as his mentality, how he approaches every day, how he wants to be great, how he doesn't have to get on him when he does bad. He's his best critic because he's harder on himself than any coach could ever beat. So like stuff like that, I'm looking for in this game. I think it's going to be intriguing, man. I mean, I like Coach Dante Williams. I like the Grayson program. I know you're going to talk about Tyler Atkinson, so I'm going to get that to y'all. But I can't wait, man. It's going to be a fun game. I don't want to get
I need to ease up.
You must have read my mind. You must have literally knew I was going to be talking about him. But go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to take up all y'all good points, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm excited, man. As far as prediction, it's hard, man, because I like Coach Dante Williams. I like Coach Smith, youngest coach, doing this thing with Grayson. It's tough, man. I think it's going to be a good game. Man. I'm going to roll with Grayson, man. It's a close game, but I'm going to roll with Grayson. It's hard because I like what Coach Dante Williams is doing, and I like their program, and it's special. It's very special what they're doing at Archer. But I'm going to roll with Grayson, man.
Okay. Go ahead, baby.
Man, I'm not hearing none of that Archer stuff, man. Shout out to Coach Williams, man. They ain't going for nothing. They're gonna bring that pressure off the edge, and it's gonna get ugly. Probably after halftime, man. You can book it. Grayson 17 up. Grayson 17. No debate, no discussion. Pass it to you, Jerome.
Yeah, I'm going Grayson.
Wow.
I'm going Grayson too, bro. It's just the talent there, man. It was crazy because all three of us was at the Mercedes-Benz, and we seen how Grayson got embarrassed. I mean, let's just say it like it is. They got embarrassed by Walton at the Mercedes-Benz, and ever since then, they just really been on a tear. They did lose one other game, but they are a very talented team. That I don't think that first game was very indicative of how good this team is and what type of talent they have. I mean, obviously you got like Colin Fox, who's their big tight end. They got Jalen Bell, Miles Woods at the DBs over there. They got their quarterback over there as well. I forgot his name. Alex Sanchez. And obviously we talk about the young guy Tyler Allison only being a sophomore. He got years ahead of him, but he is already a leader on that team. He's huge as hell. You know, he already look like a grown man out there. So you got all that talent over there that's going to have a lot of D1 players and things like that. I really like this team, and it's not to Archer. I think Archer's doing a great job over there as well. They have a lot of talent as well, but I just think it's overwhelmingly Grayson, in my opinion.
Wow. One last thing I got to say. Also look out for London Goggins as well. He had a pick in his first ever varsity playing time, and he had a forced fumble. That's another player I've already mentioned. Anybody that's seen my content on Twitter, on YouTube about how special that 2027 class is for Grayson, y'all keep a look. Y'all know, y'all hearing it on this podcast right now. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. So when it happens, they're like, oh, Grayson has a special 2027 class. I'm letting y'all know right now. So if y'all can get the chance to go see him, go see him. I already have. They're going to be special. But y'all said a butt whipping 17 plus. Y'all don't believe in Archer at all?
It's not that we don't.
It's gonna be a good game. I mean, come on, man. It's a region rivalry. These are rivals. This is gonna be a good game, man.
No. I'm not saying it's gonna be. I'm not saying it's not gonna be a good game. What I'm saying is, I believe in.
Wow.
I believe in Grayson a little bit more. Bacon was the one that said they're gonna get thrown up. Grace, he the one that made it seem like it was gonna be like just destruction.
It's not. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's not gonna be that. And I believe in Grayson. I think Grayson's good, but it ain't finna be that. It's gonna be a good one. Watch.
I feel like this is one of those games that, you know, it's going to come all the way down to like the fourth quarter, and then one of the teams are just going to separate.
Like, you can separate by 17 in the fourth quarter. Little scoop and score over the top to Kylan. You's already up 7 coming out of the third. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Baker sticking to 17. All right, man. We're going to see. We're going to talk about this next week, man. We going to see. We're going to see.
We kind of take our this a little bit backwards, but we're gonna rewind it a little bit and do a little review from this past week. So we're gonna talk about the first game, Grayson versus Westlake. I was at the game, so I want to put my analysis a little bit last of this game, but I want to hear what you guys think about it. I'm starting with you, Bacon. Carrollton looking very dominant. Westlake being in there, you know, there was a really good team. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man, I called it in podcast one. I said they would win by. I said double digits, like 14 or more. They won by 20, 28. Yeah, my math's not wrong. No, definitely more than 28. Anyway, we're gonna skip the math there. Get to the football. I was surprised that they shut down. What you say?
So you math not mathing.
Yeah, it's not math right now. I'm focused on these beautiful people through this lens. But I was surprised that they, according to Max Preps, I was surprised that they kept Caleb Oldham. They really took him out the game per Max Preps. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Kamari Farmer, it was 28 touches for 151, 2 tugs. There was a lot of question marks surrounding him after Bryce went down game one, but obviously coming in after the first quarter, now playing 8 weeks of football, you know what I'm saying? We kind of see he's got his feet under him, know kind of what he's doing behind that O-line. I got a report now. Juju, 10 for 20. 50% completion. Probably was expecting a little more, but nonetheless, 2 touchdowns, 2 tugs. And another key thing I said about Westlake, and I'll pass it to you, Jerome, or pass it to you, Naj. They didn't get Juju. Westlake didn't get Juju on the ground. No sacks. Quarterback had 2 interceptions. That tells you all you need to know right there. They didn't come in and execute the game plan that they needed to execute. So they got the result they got.
All right, Naj.
Yeah, I think the difference is you hit on the key points, right? I mean, obviously you didn't get no sacks against Juju, but you forced him into probably his lowest completion rate all season, right? And the scary thing about Carrollton is Kamari Farmer kind of is coming into his own, right? 151 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, right? Juju passed for 114 yards, right? That's not no spectacular game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's the scary part is they really leaned on their ground attack if you really think about it. And, obviously Juju still did what he needed to do and hit his key players and hit his key weapons, right? But he didn't need a lot of yards, right? 3 catches, 46 yards for the sophomore Ryan Mosley. And the next one is Jordan White, 2 catches, 48 yards. And you said, what's the name? Caleb Odom didn't even have a catch. So that's scary because you're usually thinking, okay, this is a high-powered offense. Juju's going to be throwing for 300-400 yards. They didn't even have to do that, right? They could run the rock, how they was doing before, well-balanced attack. That's scary come postseason, man. So that's what I kind of took away from this game. Carrollton wasn't necessarily on their complete A game offensively, but they still was able to beat you and beat you pretty handily. The thing about Westlake, only 43 yards rushing, right? The quarterback had the 2 interceptions. Obviously, you got to take care of the football, but you need a little bit more out of your ground game, right? And that's kind of where they struggled a little bit. I think if they could have played a little bit more ball control in this game, get the running attack going, put some pressure on Judah, as we mentioned on the onslaught, I think it would have been better. And I took Westlake to win. They did lose. But I think that's the difference in the game, right? Obviously, Carrollton didn't have their best A game, still was able to win. Juju wasn't throwing for 300-400 yards, didn't matter. And then Westlake just struggled running the football, which in turn, they had to throw it more, 29 passing attempts. They had the 2 interceptions. That's a little too much for me. So I think that's the difference in the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of unpack from what you guys are saying for sure. I'll start this off by Carrollton's a really good team in general. I can tell because from what I'm hearing, these two head coaches have a lot of ties into each other, and you could kind of tell how this was kind of playing out because you could tell each team had a game plan coming in. I could tell Westlake came into the game plan like, man, we're gonna have to like throw the ball over the yard, don't run as much as you guys can probably tell from there. And then Carrollton had the opposite. They was like, we're just gonna run the ball. And I was just like, this is weird because I came to this game to see Juju sling the ball over the field, and there was a very little of that. So, and that's nothing to do with anything. Juju had a okay game, but it wasn't a lot of like what you guys are saying. I think one of the interceptions was a tip pass. The other interception was a beautiful, just defender just knocking the ball away, tipping it to itself, and tapping it right before he got out. That play was crazy. I do have one photo of that I posted up when I went there. But to say that Juju didn't have a great game, it's not. I don't think it was more of Juju having a bad game. I think it was more of a Juju just wasn't needed in the game. They was just running. As far as Caleb Odom, he did have one catch in that game, but he was pretty much a non-factor. They was flanking him out like single him out on the outside with a cornerback, and each time they did that, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna just throw him a fade, at least try. It was a run. It's like he's out there against his small corner, and then you just run the ball. So it was they had a game plan going in. It was just like ball. Pretty sure. I think, like I said, I think the two coaches had ties together. So they were like, you know what, we're just gonna run the ball. We're gonna show them that we can run the ball, and that's literally what they did the entire game. As far as Westlake, like I said, they couldn't stop the run. At that, it was a lot of missed tackles in the game. And then, when Westlake did have opportunities, where, they was getting those interceptions where it was the rare throws, they didn't really capitalize on them. So, they were struggling running the ball themselves. They was trying to pass the ball the entire game. There was a lot of pressure on Westlake's quarterback. I forgot his name.
Sean Smith.
Yeah, there you go. Smith. He was under duress a lot of the games and a lot of the game. So I just think that Carrollton had a real good game plan. It's funny because looking at Carrollton versus Westlake, you'd be like, oh, just like on size, you'd be like, oh, hey, Carrollton's a smaller team, but they handle themselves. They play physical. Actually, they play very physical for a smaller team. So. Carrollton's a good team, man, and I would love to see them back in the playoffs this year and making their little run. So,
okay, is it safe to say that Coach King is the best high school football coach in 7A?
Dude, he's up there, man. He's up there. For him to go into that game and kind of, and again, like I said, the two coaches had ties together. So, like, when you do that, you kind of be like, I think he knows what I'm going to do. And I feel like when you watch the game, you're like, Westlake thought they was just going to go like passing the game. It's going to pass out the game because they wasn't even trying to run like that. So when they did run, it was just like, oh, okay, there's a run. But it was like pass. And Carrollton was like, yeah, okay, you're going to pass? We're going to pin our ears back and just go after the quarterback the entire time. on a pass, or we're going to run the ball and keep time possession the entire game. It was very smart. It's very smart, especially when you have a quarterback of that caliber and you're just like, yeah, you know what, we're just going to run. Who cares? So,
real Bill Belichick like.
Yeah, I can see. Great. All right, let's get to our next one. Kel versus Greater Atlanta. So I think you was at this one, right, Najee?
Yep, I sure was. Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna let Bacon talk about this one first.
Man, didn't get a chance to go to that game, but I did. I watched the GPB restream on YouTube, like the first half, and man, Bryce Clavon, what a star, man! What a star! He's a baseball athlete, but if he decided to pick up football and do the Kyler Murray thing or whatever, superstar, man. Am I on the right game, fellas?
You on the right game. He actually just
All
committed to UGA for baseball.
Tough. Shout out to Bryce. Yeah, man, they looked like they knew what they was doing, man. From the start to get goes to different offense with him on the field. Just speeches about his performance. I'll pass it off, man.
I'll throw it to you, Jerome. I got a little bit more in-depth analysis. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I got to talk to Kyle Vaca. I got to see him over the weekend, right after the game, and he just like we knew he was gonna win this game. It was like it was weird. It was crazy because it was an offensive type of game. He was just like, yeah, I knew he was gonna win this game. Just because I guess just the confidence in how the offense was gonna go. Now, obviously, there was a lot of defense in this game, but I think Kel's literally, they are very confident in themselves. They're really confident in what they can do on offense. If the defense is going to let them down, they know, hey, we can put up points. That's exactly what they did. It was a 42-32 game, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, so very close game, obviously. But I think, Kel's much of Kel coming into this season. I know they had some ballers on their team, things like that. But they really shown me a lot more, especially after that. Their first loss of the year was their opening game, and then they really showed, hey man, we're gonna tighten it up and be a better team, and they're really showing that. So, go ahead, Najee.
Yeah, for me, man, this was a great game. I left. I'm gonna talk about GC first, then Kel. GC, I left very, very impressed with their team. Not a lot of people gave them a chance going into this game, but they competed. They battled, right? This was a 21-14 game going into halftime. Obviously they broke a little bit open going into the second half, did Kel. But what I was impressed was their receivers were winning on the outside, right? And the difference in the game was they came out the gate swinging, right? GL Tiberia had that big run back, got them all the way down to the 10-yard line. They couldn't convert it into points, right? Kel goes down, Kel scores, right? 85-yard bomb to the MVP offensive player of the game, as you talked to him this weekend, Kyle Vaca, right? Great play right there. You got to see his versatility, right? I asked him about it after the game, just kind of, how is that, kind of adding to the game. And he talked about, I was supposed to run this certain route. I won't say specifically what it was, not to give it away. But he said, they didn't cover me, so I was able to do that. So he lined up initially at the running back spot, and then he got moved to the slot, and then they couldn't even cover him. There was another play, he was in the slot, and then he ran a wheel route. Just his kind of come off the ball, which is exceptional, and just fooled the defender, big time catch, stuff like that, man. He's their X factor, I think. Obviously got a great talent weapons, but they got some dudes, man, at GC, man. I'm telling you, man, that wide receiver position, I'm about to do a video on him soon. Gabe Daniels, Xavier Daisy was committed to UAB, Braylon Burgess, like they was winning on the outside against Kel, respectfully. Like their receivers were winning against their DBs. So I like that. Jack Stanton's very cool, calm, and collected. I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow night, get a little bit of his take on the game, talk about his recruiting and all that stuff. He was hitting the throws, guys. I'm telling you, he was hitting the throws, hitting the receivers in stride. If it wasn't there, obviously got sacked a couple times, but he wasn't making no unforced throws. Besides the pick six by Elijah Washington, he pretty much managed that game really, really well. He was making the throws, kept them in the game, did the best he could. But what it comes down to, as you mentioned, Bacon, Bryce Clavin, right? Big time game for him. He was able to hit his weapons on the outside. He was able to run the ball with Kamari Nix. Again, three-headed monster with him, Contarius Gibson, and also Tyreek Green. And they just played ball control. With a 14-point lead late in the game, played ball control, got down deep. Had to end up punting, but then they ended up getting the pick six. That seals the game. But I left the game very impressed with GAC. They're going to be really interesting out there at 5A. A lot of people aren't going to talk about them anymore because they lost. You got a guy that's not going to win the region title, but they were very impressive. Kale, I like Kale. I think Kale will be dangerous as well. They got to get a couple things cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? But the pass rush, Deshaun Nat, who won Defensive Player of the Game, he was lighting them up. He had 3 sacks in that game. If they can get interior pressure, they can get pressure on the quarterback, make it tough, get them into some worse spots. Some quarterbacks are prone to turn over the football. If they can do that, man, you got to like their chances. They just got to get some things on the back line kind of cleaned up a little bit. But Kale is going to be there, man. Bryce Clavin, 3-headed monster. Peyton Zachary, who I didn't mention as well, had a great highlight reel, spinning touchdown. They got some weapons, man. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, for sure. I know you talked about interior pressure. Number 99 for Kel. I can't remember his name, but he was definitely somebody I kept seeing in the camera screen. And for GAC, GL Tiberia was another not a mass addition, but another solid running back for Georgia, for Greater Atlanta Christian.
280 all-purpose yards, Bacon.
That's tough. I didn't know he had 280.
And then he had 2 tutties too.
So what did you see from him?
He just for me, he's just a physical runner, right? It took a lot to bring him down. He wasn't going down after first contact. And what's underrated about his game is his burst, right? So once he kind of get past that first wave, he was hitting a burst and people were not catching him. You know what I'm saying? And same thing in that kickoff return when he set the tone, right? Gets it, makes his first move. He's getting downhill. That burst coming out, he got all the way down the field before he's tackled. So his burst, being able to get past the first wave, don't go down on first contact, that's what stands out to me. So they can run it and they can throw it. So JC can beat you in a multitude of ways.
Oh, for sure. Back to you, Jerome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's get to our next one. Jonesboro versus Willard. We just talked about Willard in our preview. They beat Jonesboro. The score was 29-6. So let's talk about this one. Bacon, I'm gonna let you start off with this one because I think you wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, man. 29-6. Not the game I was really looking for. I was kind of looking for kind of more of a back and forth offensive explosion. For whatever reason, they decided Jonesboro. I'm talking about right now. They decided to pull Jamon Jones. He did like one series for the Cardinals, and they pulled him, and they decided to go with John Tavis. So a lot of clamor on the sideline. Is he hurt? Is he hurt? Because it wasn't looking good with John Tavis at QB. In my opinion, obviously judged by the score, that says that you could definitely tell he played quarterback before, but it just didn't sync up. So I talked to coach as he was going to the locker room. I said, Coach, said just kind of enlighten me on why you made that decision. He said they seen something and they want to kind of surprise them pretty much. They thought they saw something that was gonna work, but it was tough. They ended up throwing Jamar back in the game. Um, it was just a lot of frustration on the sideline. But in terms of Woodward, explosive. I really like Landon Walker. He had 2 interceptions, but he had a great day on the ground. 79 yards on the ground, 13 rushes, 2 touchdowns, super physical. He even had he shook off like 2 or 3 would-be tacklers, jumped did a Tim Tebow pass, but to the end zone, but it was incomplete. So they definitely put on a show at Woodward. Dominant performance by them. And oh, by the way, Jerome Bettis Jr., he had the interception number 4, man. So Jonesboro kind of let me down, man. I was really hoping to see more of them. Octavius Wyman, Jamar Owens, they both had an interception apiece, and one of the most underrated linebackers in the country, Isaiah Collier. He picked up a fumble, had a couple speed rushes off the edge. Talented. But yeah, I'll pass it out to you, Naj.
Yeah, my question to you before I go is just what do you I think you've seen this your first or second time seeing Jonesboro?
This is my first time seeing them in person, but I've watched their film extensively.
Okay, so do you think with them, like obviously we know Wyman's their star, right? Obviously Jamar Owens is a star too, but do you think the offense will flow a little bit better if John Tavis was quarterback or the guy Jamar? Because like they struggle, right? They were 6 for 22 passing with 2 interceptions. So obviously defensively, I think they did what they needed to do. Obviously if they brought the Camel's back, you know what I'm saying, after a while, but they got 2 turnovers, right? 2 interceptions from Jamar and Jontavius. So do you think that offense would just flow better with someone else at quarterback? What do you think from what you saw?
For what I saw, neither quarterback really had a chance to kind of get in a rhythm. Like I said, I really pulled Jamon as in 1 or 2 series, and they were really running the ball. So he maybe only had like 1 or 2 passing attempts. Jamar came in, it was real pass heavy. He's back there scrambling around making plays, but you could tell he was thrusted into that role. So, and honestly, from looking at Jamar's stats, 990 passing yards on the season, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So maybe that's why coach was a little leery. Maybe he's seen something in the secondary for Woodward because they do have a talented secondary. Well, that may explain why they pulled him. I also want to add Donovan McCoy only touchdown kickoff return, like maybe like a 70-yard return. But I just think you gotta stick with one quarterback, man. We're getting into region play. We don't have time to be doing week 1, week 2 decision makers. That's just me. Let it ride with us.
I feel you on that. Yeah, especially big games, you got potential to contend for a region title. I mean, yeah, you got to be able to know it and stick with it. In the worst case, if you're struggling, just run the football, right? Give it to your playmakers out in space and Wyman and Lucius Murray and obviously Montez Redden and others. But I thought defensively a pretty decent game. I mean, you had 2 guys with 11 plus tackles, Jamar Owens and Maddox Gerald. So obviously I wasn't there at the game, but I mean, I think it's tough. I think the defense did what they need to do. If you got 2 turnovers, offense got to be able to convert that into points. I think that's the big thing in there. But they ran the ball pretty good. Lucas Farrington, as I mentioned earlier, 23 carries, 127 yards in the touchdown, 198 yards rushing total. And Abdullah had a pretty good game, 5 catches, 83 yards in the tutty. So I think that's the key. Obviously, the good thing with Jonesboro, they're a young team, man. So regardless of how this year goes, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be able to learn and build on this experience with the coaches, and then they'll be able to get better and better next season. A lot of these kids are young. They're going to miss some of their, obviously, senior people like Montez Redding, senior wide receiver standout. But they're going to be bringing Jamar Owens back. They're going to be bringing Jamon back. They're going to be bringing Dontavius Wyman back. So these are just good building blocks, man, to play competitive football, know what you need to do to win, and take that on in the next season.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's just mission great quarterback performance. They get that, it's a game changer. Sorry to cut you off, Drew.
You good, man. You good. All right, let's get to our last game real quick. Parkview versus Newton. So Parkview got the win, man. They got the win. They gave Newton their first loss of the season. Parkview's a good team, man. They lost to Mills Creek, who's another good team this year. They also lost to Archer, who we just talked about not too long ago, only by 1 point. So, I think we kind of like ran off Parkview just a little bit right after, coming off of a loss last week. I mean, now 2 weeks ago. And then, they played very well with Newton. Newton did come back a little bit, but I want to hear from you guys what you thought about this game in totality. I'm sorry with Najee on this one.
Yeah, I know you said we might have jumped the gun a little bit too fast. I ain't jumped no gun. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Parkview. I like the coach, Joe Sturdivant. I like their playmakers. I like Mike Matthews. I like Zealous Hicks. I like Jalen Crawford. I like Kyrie Spain, who I've been a big fan of for a while, Traylon Maddox. I don't believe in the quarterback, respectfully. And I know he had a better game, and I'm not trying to shut on him or nothing. 275 yards, but, guys, he still had 2 interceptions, right? When it comes down to it and you're playing these elite teams in 7A, which you're going to play, teams are going to convert off those turnovers and those mistakes. So he did play better. They are seeing progression, but I still got to see more from that position, respectfully. But overall, I mean, great game. 171 yards on the ground. It did in a multitude of ways, right? Got a little bit from Jenkins, who scored 2 touchdowns as well. They got David Rouster Jr., who had 103 yards, but did it by committee, right? A bunch of different rushes, over 7 people who had touched the ball, running the ball. Mike Matthews had one of his big games, 4 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. That tells me he's averaging about 30 yards per catch. He was making big plays all over the field. I think the game ball goes to the defense, right? Regardless of them rushing for 100-plus yards with Zion Johnson, I think they did a good job, especially Jalen Crawford, of just strapping up, right? No receiving touchdowns in this game, no passing touchdowns. He made some key plays. You go back to GBB, kind of replay, just, kind of just being all over the receiver, not getting him no airspace, taking away different deep routes, being physical, getting PBUs. So I got to give the game ball to Parkview's defense. That's what I believe in, their defense. And if their playmakers get the ball in space, they're dangerous. But, yeah, that's my take from it.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, man. I definitely was on the Newton bandwagon coming into this week. I thought they were the more complete team. I didn't expect Parkview's quarterback to come out and play as well as he did. But anytime you find Mike Matthews for at 30 yards a pop, and that it's not gonna be a good ending for the other team. I still like Newton, despite this a week's loss to Parkview, but just gotta bounce back next week. Happy for Parkview, and Newton had a successful running attack on the ground. I saw. Well, does anybody know why they had two quarterbacks for Newton? I say they both combined for two TDs
N-
pass.
Nah, it was just a play. So basically, it was like he was 1 for 1 for 6 yards in the touchdown. They probably ran something like a little trick play or something, or had him in for like a quick little series or something.
Yeah, they was doing that when they played Westlake too.
Uh, gotcha. Little Philly special.
Yeah, could be.
A little bit.
Kudos
You
to
want Philly,
them.
Philly?
Philly.
Appreciate it. But yeah, my take on this game was, I seen Newton one time. I've been, like I said last week, I've been around on Parkview. My biggest thing, and I'm pretty sure I said this last week, was that my biggest thing is the quarterback play. I always, if it's a team or two teams that I think they're very close together, I feel like, Newton's a very physical, smart team. I feel like Parkview has all the talent on the world on their teams. But when you get two teams that kind of clash here, they always look for the quarterback. And I think I could, if I swear, I don't know if I said it or I was just thinking it, but Parkview's quarterback, not having him not great. So like, I lean toward Newton a little bit in this game. And like Najee said, he played very well in this game. So kudos to him. He they got so much talent on the team. Shout out to my guy, Zealous Hicks too, man. Every time I see this man, he's playing better and better and better. He's just a young boy too. So
Elite.
I'm very excited to see how his future is, man. Like I said, I just interviewed him during the summer, and I was just like looking up at him, like, what the hell happened? Because he was not taller than me last year. He was not taller than me. So this kid's got extreme athletic ability. He's young, he's hungry. One of my favorite players on his team. He got the athletic ability, but he's a good kid too, as well. So shout out to him on that one. So. Anybody want to close it off with this game or last words?
I'm fine.
All right, cool. I got one thing. Go ahead.
I was just saying I on what I said. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay. I got one thing I want to publicly apologize about. Westlake, I apologize because 2 games I've been to your games and you're 0-2 with me being there. So I don't know. I made a joke out there in the game. Every time I come to see you guys, y'all lost, and it literally been the only 2 games that y'all lost. So it might be me. I don't know. Apologize in advance because I do that to Utah too. Every time I pick Utah college, every time I pick them, they always lose. So, and I like Utah. So I apologize if it's me. I might be the jinx. So, yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna let these boys get their moment in time because I know we love this. I love this segment. I love to hear them talk basketball. I'm not the big basketball person, but we're gonna get into our last segment, the 3-man weave. I like hearing. I like the name. First of all, I like the name Bacon.
Yeah.
Great name. But I want to hear from you guys. What's some basketball stuff? Give me some knowledge, man. Let me know what's going on in the world because I'm not the biggest basketball guy. Go ahead, Najee. I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna start with Bacon. I'm gonna lean on him a little bit for this week for the news. He got some amazing stuff. I just want to give a shout out football real quick. My guy Luke Nickel, man, he balled out 457 yards, school record, 5 touchdowns, 6 catches, 294 yards. And CJ Wilder clocked at 19.1 miles per hour, 6 catches, 155 yards for DeBron Gatling. I just want to give Luke Nickel some praise tonight, man. You're special. Coach Reeves, love what you're doing. Y'all always slept on, but I know what y'all gonna do come postseason time. Just want to give him some quick love before we get into 3-man weave. That's my send-off performance for this week. Luke Nickel, keep doing your thing, my guy. All right, let's go ahead and go, Bacon. What you got?
All right. First things first. First and foremost on a 3-man weave. Yeah,
Love it.
got OTR on the radar. They posted Hoops. Like pretty much like a Thanksgiving jamboree they're putting on. They got Osborne's going to be in the building. Grayson's going to be in the building. Help me out, Naj, if you can remember.
I got you, fam. I'm about to pull it up right now.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Osborne,
Yeah,
they got.
so
Oh, yeah, bro.
it's November 22nd. So the matchups: Walnut Grove versus Gainesville. That's going to be an interesting one because Gainesville gets the Newton former coach. We know what they've done with that superior talent. We know what they've had. That's a new head coach at Gainesville basketball. Newton had that thrilling last year, lost it just on a buzzer beater to Norcross. We know how good that team has been. Stephon Castle who's at UConn now. Ja'Kai Newton, who's at Indiana. Got some boys. Can't wait to see him with his new team. Pebblebrook versus Green Forest. Pebblebrook usually really, really, really good in basketball. Playing against Green Forest, that's going to be an interesting game. Cedar Grove, right? Well, we see EJ Colston continue to play ball, right? That'll be interesting to see. Cedar Grove made it all the way to the championship game before they lost. That's going to be an interesting game. Osborne got a Kai Fleming. Get to see him up close and personal, hopefully. I think that'll be an intriguing game. So I can't wait to see that one at 3:30 p.m. The Pebblebrook Green Forest is at 2. Then you got Kel Newton, right? I just mentioned Newton, new regime, new coach. That's going to be interesting. Going against the 5A state champions in Kel, right? Kel got the big guy who just committed to Missouri, Peyton Marshall. They got C.J. Brown who's going to USF, right? They got Jalen Colson. They got some dudes, man. So can they replicate that success they had last year in that matchup against Newton? How will Newton look? Heard they got some really good guys, Bacon, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I heard like the young class is really, really good. I think they won the county championship in the freshman or JV ball last year, right? Some guys gonna be called up probably potentially. So that's gonna be interesting to see. Young talent, can they get it going? Can they be cohesive enough in that game? Priestley Ridge, Grayson. I don't know a lot about Priestley Ridge, but Grayson is my favorite in 7A, if I had to say. I think they got just too much talent, right? You add Jacob Wilkins, who is the son of Dominique Wilkins, coming over now. Add that with Jakari Harris, Amir Taylor, possibly, maybe not. We'll see how it goes with Colin Fox. He played on the team last year. Coach Jeffrey Pierce raved about him. That'll be interesting. And you got Central Gwinnett versus Tri-Cities. Don't know a lot about those two teams, but that's the nightcapper at 8 p.m. Should be interesting. But what's your take, Bacon?
All right, this Tri-Cities usually keep a nice fold of young hoopers. They won state 2 years ago with what's his name, Simeon. He's up there at Kennesaw State right now, super talented. But they usually keep a formidable lineup, so that'd be special. I think obviously the matchup is the Grayson. Who's Grayson playing again, brother?
Priestley Ridge.
Grayson Peachtree Ridge. Everybody wants to see Grayson, man. That's probably gonna be a talk of the town. Underrated game is probably like you said, the Green Forest Pebblebrook game. Green Forest, I believe they still have the two brothers, the two 7-footers. They always keep the sides down there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Pebblebrook can use their pace, the transition basketball gets that length. That's going to be nice. I also want to add on top of that we got NBA basketball commencing tonight. We got the Lakers playing. Lakers playing the Jerome's team, the Nuggets. I think the Lakers got some newfound size. They got Jackson, who just came in from New Orleans. They got LeBron, we all know. They got Anthony Davis. So with that size, I think that was the biggest separator for the Denver Nuggets last year. Nobody could really handle them in interior rebounds. Jokic is a monster. They got Porter. So, it's gonna be really interesting to see how the Lakers utilize their size against Denver, which was a key difference maker in the finals when they played in the bubble. They had Dwight, JaVale McGee. They was able to throw those big bodies at Jokic, kind of time down. So if they beat Denver tonight, that might be the recipe going forward that the league takes advantage of and utilizes to their advantage.
Yeah, that's 63-54 lead right now at halftime for the Denver Nuggets. We'll see how the Lakers look good at the start. Well, that's kind of question. We're gonna go back to the hoops. How are you a Philly fan, and how are you a Denver Nuggets fan? That just dawned on me. How does those two kind of combine? I'm confused.
No correlation there for you? Nothing?
What's the correlation? Please enlighten me.
I was a Philly fan, right?
Who you with?
We went from Philly to the Nuggets.
How does that work though? Did you move from Philly to Denver?
No. There's a certain player that moved from Philly to Denver.
This all
Carmelo. No. Allen Iverson.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So you still a Sixers fan at heart?
There's a whole story behind it, but I'll be real quick. The Sixers versus the Lakers when they lost to the Kobe and they won that first game, and everybody in Philly is gonna win the championship, and then Lakers had a different idea in that and blowing us up basically the last 4 games. I was a depressed kid. I cried. I was probably like 11, 12, so I'm kind of showing my age a little bit. But I was a kid. So I was crying. I cried. I was like, damn, bro, like we thought we was gonna win. Like, what happened? And later down, no, it was all AI. So I started to become more of an AI fan than a Sixers fan. And AI left fit the Sixers, went to the Nuggets. I became a Nuggets fan. One of my favorite college players played for the Nuggets, which was Carmelo. That year they had Carmelo, they had AI, they had Chauncey Billups, they had Nane. Bro, that team was stacked. I love that team. They didn't do nothing, but I love that team. So, like, I became a Nuggets fan. I've been a Nuggets fan ever since, and, you got Jokic, and then I was like, all right, this team looked like we're about to start doing stuff again and won the championship last year. So, bro.
So, safe to say you're a Nuggets fan, you're not a Sixers fan anymore.
I'm in between.
I'm more of a Nuggets fan. I still support the Sixers, but I'm way more of a Nuggets fan. I have a Nuggets jersey. I don't have a Sixers jersey. Let's just say that.
Okay. Well, that shows where your loyalty lies. Okay. I just want to know, man. I mean, it's different. I get asked all the time, how the hell are you a Cincinnati fan? So
when the Sixers and Nuggets play, I'm more Nuggets than Sixers. Trust me. And I like them. I like the Sixers. Trust me.
But you're a Nuggets fan then. Okay.
I'm like that.
Yeah, Ty Lawson. I'm an UNC basketball fan. Ty Lawson came from UNC, went to the Nuggets, bro. Like I know the whole history, so it's not like I know they just won the championship and everybody kind of get on me like, oh, you just got on the hit. No, man, I've been following the Nuggets for a while. Trust me.
You never know. You got a bandwagon. I
hear you. Definitely, man. But all right, there's one last thing that I forgot in the beginning of the segment, and it made sense because it's called First and Foremost. I got the first and foremost part. Listen, it's only our second episode, so we're still kind of working the kinks out. But our first and foremost, I guess it's gonna be last and foremost, I guess, today. I have a first and foremost that I want to go to, but I want to hear what you guys. So if you haven't been on here last week, first and foremost is basically anything that we want to talk about first and foremost before this podcast usually starts. We're doing it at the end of time. So, Bacon, I'm going to let you begin this. What is your first and foremost? What's something that you just want to talk about in general that you want to talk about?
First and foremost, or last and foremost, whatever you want to say, back to the hoops thing. It was a real beautiful ceremony that was put on this Sunday, I believe, by Rutgers in South Carolina. Coach Nikki Hinton, if I'm saying her last name right, she passed away this summer. And they normally we don't really see the top tier teams playing in scrimmages, but they were granted a pass by the NCAA to honor her. Coach Daly came out, they spoke on her behalf at halftime, so it was really a real nice ceremony to see. So I just wanted to throw that out there first and foremost.
Oh, that's up, man. That's great. Nigel, what you got, man?
First and foremost, man, Thomas County Central was 8-0, slept on team out there in 6A. Nobody's talking about them. Just whoops, put it on Houston County, 27-0. Shut down that explosive offense that has Antoine Hills committed to Colorado, Kel Woodburn, Ricky Johnson, who's going to Stanford. I mean, completely just dismantled and shut them down. Big time victory for them. Big time region championship, first and foremost, this weekend against Lee County. Can they slow down Ousmane Kroma? That is the question. And they got a really good and special player in Leroy Jackson, who's announced his commitment November 4th. So that should be really, really intriguing. But that's my first and foremost. Thomas County Central, nothing to play with. Can they win the region title and secure the number 1 seed for the first 2 rounds of the postseason? That would be interesting. That's my first and foremost.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say, keep our name out your mouth. Keep our name out your mouth. Listen. Everybody wanted to joke about my team losing to the Jets last week. came out and showed.
I didn't know where that was going.
Number one
I didn't know where that was going. I didn't know where that was going, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't know where that was going.
Keep our name out your mouth. Listen, fastest team in the NFL, best offense, best running game in the NFL. We shut that running game down. Tyreek Hill was going to Tyreek Hill. He still had 100 yards, almost 100 yards. I think he had 80-something yards and a touchdown. You can't stop him. But to contain him, come on, man. Listen, it's the NFL. You're going to lose some games. It happens. But don't talk down on my team. Listen, and also I want to say this. The top two teams right now in the NFL are the two teams that was in the Super Bowl last year. So
yeah,
talk to us nice, okay? I just want to.
Granted, I don't.
For all those Jets fans that got their first not career, the first franchise win against us. Literally their first. They never won against us before. That was their first. You can have your first.
Granted, respectfully, obviously, I don't hate on the Chiefs, but they don't play nobody. Mahomes is 29-3 his career against the AFC West. They already have a 3-game lead. We've only played 7 games. They have a 3-game lead on their division already. I rest my case. The AFC West is like what the AFC East was for Tom Brady back in the day.
I give you that. That's very, very true. I give you that. That's
just saying.
Every year. I know this is supposed to be like a one little segment thing. Every year, I'm always like Chargers, and they always disappoint me. Every single.
All that talent.
I don't know why. They got all the talent. I love Justin Herbert. I think they got the running back. They got great receivers. The defense is really good. They got good pieces in the defense. I can't fathom it. I really don't. Like
it's coaching.
It has to be the coaching. There's no way. It has to be.
Yeah. But go ahead, Big. I know you're going to make a point. Go ahead, man.
I just want to bring up an interesting stat. Caught it on the. I can't. It's on a Shannon Sharp. Him and Chad Ochocinco's wrap up show. They brought me an interesting stat about Taylor Swift. When every time, listen. Every time Taylor Swift attends a Kansas City Chiefs game, Travis Kelce has a monster game, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the NFL got some money in there, so but whatever they're doing, they need to break off. That's big time, bro. That's tough.
My reaction to that is enough. Okay, enough with the Taylor Swift, bro. Enough. This man was already considered a future Hall of Famer before she even came into the picture. He was already considered a go tight end. Enough. Now, granted, she does have some sort of impact, right? But it's very minuscule, right? It's like you or Jerome playing back in the day. If you got a girl that you like coming to your game, of course you're gonna go try the ball, right? But let's stop acting like she's the sole reason why this man's balling. This man's already been great. He's always been great. He's always been that guy. Enough, man. It's such a dumb stat, right? Obviously, she has that little bit of an influence. He obviously wants to look good. He wants to perform for his lady, his woman. Who would not? But let's stop acting like she's the sole reason why this man's a baller. Enough.
Listen, bro. The Bible says when a man finds a woman, he finds a good thing. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm good on that, bro. I'll leave that bigger stuff to y'all.
Yeah, because you finna take him to the Cheesecake Factory.
Hey, bro, you can't do that no more. Can't do Cheesecake Factory. You can't do Starbucks. I mean, you can't do the movies. You can't do bowling. Hey, I mean, where they want to go? Or is it Benihana's, PF Chang's, Hibachi? I don't know. I ain't trying to figure it out, though. Tell you that.
You gotta find it a good thing.
I'll stay on my single. I'll stay on my single wave, man. I'm going to get me a companion, get me a little dog, man. I'm good to go.
This podcast for a different turn. we went from bacon becoming a Swiftie, and
I wouldn't say that. I'm always gonna be a Beehive young man. Beehive.
Oh man, that's wow. He didn't even deny it. I'm just not gonna say it. But that's gonna do it for us today, man. Hope y'all appreciate and like this segment that we do first and foremost. Hopefully we do a lot more episodes for this. We're gonna try to do it every Tuesday night around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So definitely make sure you're tuned in. Make sure that you like and subscribe to all our YouTube channels. So again, we got Najee's YouTube, which is Najee Wilkins TV. We got Inside the Hashes as well. We got Bacon. He's going to get on there as well. We'll put the Bacon Network on YouTube. He got some great stuff on there. So make sure you go check out all our YouTube channels, like and subscribe so you can know when we live. We do live commentary. So if you want to come on here and put some commentary on there as well, you can definitely do that as well, man. So thank you guys so much. I'm Jerome Jones. That's Najee. That's my man Bacon. Thank you guys so much. See you on the next one. Peace.